There's no denying the success of the MCU. Iron Man's pitch-perfect start, the rise of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Black Panther have all been huge highlights. The connected films, big budgets, and homecoming of Spider-Man have made it easy to ignore some of the more glaring issues with the whole connected universe. See some of the biggest problems Marvel has chosen to ignore over the years and how some have grown into huge issues moving forward. Before you watch, click subscribe. You'll join our notification squad and be the first to know of new Screen Rant content.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Origin stories. The first phase of the MCU needed to introduce us to the core group of superheroes which compose the ultimate group known as the Avengers. Through the films, we had to sit through a whole lot of origin stories, including characters like Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. While the origin stories are essential, they all end up following a cookie-cutter formula and can get repetitive over time. By the time Doctor Strange was released in 2016, it felt like we could write the films ourselves. It's the same thing over and over. A hero with flaws goes through a traumatic event which changes their lives, gives them powers, and leads them on a journey to discover the hero within himself. While films like Black Panther and Spider-Man Homecoming were able to venture outside of the cliché origin story territory, we basically sludge through the origin stories just so our heroes can be developed enough to sit back and enjoy the sequels. Even films like the first Avengers felt like an origin story where all the members had to meet up, clash, and eventually work together as a team. Once the team was established, things went smoothly and had more fun moments during the Avengers Age of Ultron.
Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Now bring it down hard. Someday.
What are you doing?
Dance off, bro. Me and you.
The big baddies. With so much time devoted to the origin stories and growth of heroes, the evil villains always seem to get put on the back burner. For years, Marvel films have suffered from villains who were underdeveloped and all seem to have a god complex bent on destroying the whole world for no good reason at all. One of the earliest examples comes in the film Captain America: The First Avenger. Red Skull is one of Marvel's classic villains, but he barely gets any screen time as a lot of the film is devoted to the growth of Captain America and his heroic nature. In Guardians of the Galaxy, Ronan wants to conquer and destroy planets, but his character is a one-note baddie without much of a backstory. He seems like Thanos' lackey, and almost every one of his scenes truly drags the entertaining film down. One of the most cliché villains comes in the form of Malekith from Thor: The Dark World. He basically wants to destroy the galaxy, and, well, that's about it. Mickey Rourke's Whiplash had a lot of potential in Iron Man 2, but the villain also falls short of presenting any substance on screen.
The rest of us have one job: tear these things apart. You get hurt, hurt them back. You get killed, walk it off.
Character rebirths. Character deaths in movies are dramatic, intense, and should shake us to our emotional core. The MCU has forced us to shrug off a number of these deaths and blink as if nothing happened. Time and time again, characters have been presented as dead, only to return later, and often within the same exact movie. With all of these false deaths and characters' rebirths, a lot of the emotional connection becomes lost, and the stakes don't mean anything in the end. For example, in Captain America 2: The Winter Soldier, Nick Fury is killed, and we see his corpse on screen. A little later, Fury reveals he faked his own death and is actually alive and well.
They cut you open, your heart stopped.
Tetrodotoxin B slows the pulse to 1 beat a minute. Banner developed it for stress.
A similar scenario happened to Loki and Agent Phil Clausen. Just because a character or actor is likable doesn't mean you have to resurrect them in the movie. We're at the point where Pepper Potts' supposed death in Iron Man 3 just makes us roll our eyes. If you're gonna kill a character, just let them die.
You didn't see that coming?
The only impactful death seems to have been the sacrificial death Quicksilver has in the Avengers Age of Ultron. Who knows if that'll stick?
It's a hoot that you don't get why we need this.
Tony, maybe this might not be the time.
Really? That's it. You just roll over, show your belly every time somebody snarls.
Only when I've created a murder bot.
The Avengers problem. The Avengers joins together the ultimate group of heroes here to protect the Earth. Where would we be without the help of Iron Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Thor, Captain America, and the Incredible Hulk? Well, probably a lot better off. The Avengers may have been able to save the day multiple times, but in the first two films, all the chaos and destruction to Earth is pretty much all their fault anyway. In the first Avengers, the Shield actually brings Loki to Earth, and their actions cause him to escape and wreak all kinds of havoc.
Your work with the Tesseract is what drew Loki to it, and his allies. It is a signal to all the realms that the Earth is ready for a higher form of war.
things are even more the Avengers' fault in Age of Ultron because Tony Stark and Bruce Banner are actually responsible for creating Ultron. Why should either of them get credit for their actions when they caused the problem in the first place? The whole city of Sokovia could have been stopped from being lifted up into the air if it wasn't for their experiments. For the Infinity War, it seems like the Avengers are up against something a little more out of their control for once. But the Avengers did decide to keep a lot of the Infinity Stones on planet Earth. Huge mistake there, guys.
This is time. Endless looped time.
Timeline. The MCU built itself as one of the biggest interconnected movie franchises since the original Universal Monsters. Along with heroes and characters interacting and popping up in each other's movies, each film tried to establish a connected timeline so viewers could follow stories and understand where the movies took place. At first, everything flowed nicely, but then as more movies were released, things became a little more complicated. One of the craziest timeline changes was referred to as Nick Fury's Big Week, where Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, Thor, and Captain America: The First Avengers modern-day scenes all take place within the same exact week. Things get completely screwed up after the release of Spider-Man: Homecoming. The film supposedly takes place 8 years after the first Avengers, which would make the story set in 2020. But with the Avengers: Infinity War actually set in the year 2018, the whole timeline is in shambles. By the time Marvel's Phase 4 rolls around, we should probably give up on any efforts of a working timeline and just accept the jumbled mess as it is.
You sure about this?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Female lead characters. The MCU officially began with Iron Man in 2008. In the years that followed, we were treated with a bunch of white guy superheroes leading films like Thor and Ant-Man. It took nearly 10 years to feature an African hero in the title role, and we have still yet to see a female-led Marvel movie in the MCU. Strong female characters are present in the Marvel Universe, but it's long overdue they got their own solo film. Things will change with the release of Captain Marvel in 2019, but there were other opportunities to introduce a female lead early on. After the introduction of Black Widow and Iron Man 2, the hero could have easily starred in her own film and given a deeper backstory. As an alternative, Scarlett Johansson was pretty much just inserted into any Marvel movie where a female hero was needed. This is one area where the DCEU has a clear advantage over the MCU. The Wonder Woman solo film was a huge success. The character was a big highlight in Justice League, and she will have a sequel out in the coming years. Hopefully, Captain Marvel is a step in the right direction for female-driven movies.
Why would you risk your life for this?
My mother gave it to me. My mom liked sharing with me all the pop songs that she loved growing up.
What do you do with it?
Do? Nothing. You listen to it. Or you can dance.
The music. One area the MCU really lacking in is the music. Heroes have no signature themes. The music in each film feels like background noise without any true tracks you can recognize outside of the film. For Tony Stark's Iron Man, his rock star soundtrack fits him well, but characters like Thor and Captain America should have themes that we're used to recognizing when the characters appear on screen. In DC's Justice League, we not only get a theme song for the League, but Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman all have their own distinct motifs, which mix seamlessly into the film's score. In the MCU, one of the main exceptions to this is the original Avengers score by Alan Silvestri. His Avengers theme offers a great way to showcase the heroes, and the sound is recognizable when used in other films. More of the familiar music should be used for future films, so the heroes have their own themes and songs we can correlate to their appearances on screen.
An empire toppled by its enemies can rise again, but one which crumbles from within, that's dead.
Plot holes. As the MCU grows and becomes more complicated, there are a number of plot holes that seem to grow and become harder to cover up. There's only so many times we can ignore the plot hole or cover up the wound with a band-aid when the story elements clearly need some stitches and more careful treatment. One of the biggest plot holes in recent years comes from Captain America: Civil War. The film basically needed a way to pit Team Captain America against Team Iron Man and deliver a thrilling fight sequence at an airport. The best way to do this? Insert Zemo. Zemo's family was killed in Sokovia during the actions of Avengers: Age of Ultron. He vowed revenge on the group by creating a plan that would tear them apart on the inside. The only problem? The only way for his plan to work would require all types of coincidences, lucky circumstances, and the ability of the Winter Soldier to evade capture for a specific amount of time. Zemo may have lost his family, but luck was really on his side as everything pretty much fell into place, and he got the Civil War he wanted.
We have made some very public mistakes. We need to win their trust back.
Focus up. I'm sorry, did I just mishear you, or did you agree with me?
Oh, I want to take it back.
No,
now.
you can't retract it.
And there you have it. What problem do you think is the worst? What problems should they fix in the next Avengers movie? Are there any problems that we missed? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Screen Rant on YouTube so you can stay up to date with our awesome videos. Thanks for watching.